go then. Okay, introducing my next featured artist on my radio program and show and podcasts, taking time out of the schedule. We have a female rising country recording artist, B Smith, joining me right here now. Lovely to have you on, B.
Mhm.
Nice to meet you. Welcome to my program.
Thank you. Nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
That's amazing. Firstly, well, I always ask this question, but please can you just tell me, and my listeners, a bit about yourself, your background, where you're currently presently based, how you
Yeah.
got into pop music and how country music has always been like a part of, what you do.
Mhm. Yeah, so I'm a country artist. I'm from Lancashire, Preston in Lancashire to be specific. I've been singing for a long time, over 10 years. I took a break to become a mum, and then I kind of told myself this time last year, it's now or never. I've got to do something with it now, and I've had long enough of a break and wanted to push my music properly, really. So I got signed, and which is amazing, to a record label in Louisiana called Bookshot Records. And yeah, I'm about to do a US tour, so it's absolutely bonkers.
That's incredible. Yeah, well,
Yeah,
congratulations on that. And
thank you.
growing up, like, in with music, who have been some artists you've kind of looked up to? Like, like Shania Twain, she was always like an icon, in
Yeah,
the 90s. Celine Dion, who have been
yeah.
your personal favorites?
I mean, there's been a lot, So I didn't grow up listening to country music. It wasn't really that accessible to me growing up. My family weren't really, and they're still actually, truth be told, not really into country
Uh,
music. They kind of have to be now because I'm into it. They don't get a choice anymore.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, growing up, it was a real mix. It was people like Michael Jackson and the Carpenters and Celine Dion, Eva Cassidy. Jewel was one in my teenage years. I fell in love with Jewel's songwriting. I liked that kind of folky sound. Janis Joplin. It's a real mix, really.
Yeah.
Um, and then I kind of started writing, and when I discovered country music, I feel like I found a genre that I could really appreciate because of the storytelling.
Hmm.
Um, so when I was writing, it was kind of along those same lines. It was always about things that had happened and personal experiences and stuff like that. Um, and I listen to lyrics when I listen to a song. That's a melody's great. I love a melody. We all love pop music. Don't get me wrong, I have my guilty pleasures and I love my ABBA and stuff like that
Yeah.
at the end of the night when you want to have a dance and a sing song. But I listen to the lyrics first and foremost, and
Mm.
the lyrics of a song will tend to grab me more than anything else will. So um, country music for me, that's really what sold it to me, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just
But
fell in love with it.
when you say to the everyday person like country music, they always think of like whiskey and what's the other one, gambling, but there's so much more to
Yeah, the
country music
cliche
than
stuff.
that.
Yeah, yeah. There's I think it can get a bit of a bad rap. Like it's definitely more mainstream now, which is amazing for people like me who've got opportunities to perform now that we couldn't before. Um, I mean, I used to perform on the circuit, and it was just kind of singing your pop music or your crowd pleasers that people wanted. And although I loved to be performing, it was what I was performing I didn't really like. So I kind of fell out of love with that side of it and thought, well, maybe this is it. And I'm just resigned to being a lone country fan in my bedroom. So now it's great that it's kind of come full circle and country is mainstream now.
Yeah.
So
Yes, that's good to hear. So that you just told me like, you kind of like transitioned to how you got to where you are now and some of the artists you
mhm,
looked up to, which brings us
mhm.
on to your latest effort. It's called The Little Girl's Heart. What's the story behind this record and where did your kind of inspiration from writing this song come about?
Mhm. So, Little Girl's Heart is about my experience of growing up. Um, I think with my songwriting in particular, it's always quite personable. I'm not saying I won't sing songs about trucks and whiskey, but it's not really me. Um, I think, I do drive a truck, so I might write about that at one stage. Whiskey I don't drink, so maybe I'll sing a song about not drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
But yeah, Little Girl's Heart is about me growing up and uh, without a dad, basically. It's quite a sad song.
Hmm.
Um, and it kind of, I wasn't actually thinking about this being my debut single, to be honest. It just kind of came out very organically when we were writing. I co-wrote it with a wonderful guy called Nick Sagar, very, very talented. And we kind of went into the session not really having any idea in mind. We just kind of talked about like life experiences and things. And this kind of just came out. So that's where it came from. And it kind of takes the traditional idea of dads in country music who are, their boots are hard to fill and they're great father figures, they're great men, great role models, and kind of turns it on its head, which is a bit of a nice twist.
Hmm.
And I think the feedback that I've had has been wonderful. It's
Yeah.
resonated with a lot of people that have gone through that, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. So that's been really good.
And this is your debut single, is it? Your first ever
Yeah,
release. How
yeah,
exciting.
yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. Like I say, the feedback's been amazing. It's had loads of airplay, and people have just, I think, appreciated the honesty, excuse me, in the song and the vulnerability of it, which is exactly what I wanted. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah. And I just wanted to do an observation. Looking at the artwork cover for Little Girl's Heart, it does look like it tells a story, with the artwork, the little girl, they do say a picture paints a thousand words.
Yeah, so that's actually my daughter in that picture. And she's holding my childhood teddy bear. So the idea behind the artwork was I'm a creative at heart anyway, so I kind of run away with different ideas of things, and I kind of wanted to portray um, the vulnerability in that picture where she's kind of stood on her own in a big forest, like she's alone in that. And also she's the same age that I was when my father left, which is what's inspired the song. So it's nice to come full circle
Yeah.
actually.
And would you say, like, with this record, Little Girl's Heart, it's quite a personal record to you? It means a lot.
Yeah,
Mm.
massively, yeah. And I think, people have said, how can you sing something that's so personable? And I mean, don't get me wrong, I had my single release party and I cried like a baby when I performed it
Mm.
live. And I think I still will always be emotional about it because it is such a true thing. But in saying that, um, this is something that happened many, many years ago, and um, the work, if you will, is kind of already been done. So this was kind of just having it. I kind of wish that I'd have had a song like that when
Mm.
I was going through it to be able to relate to, because there was nothing out there then.
Yeah.
So that I felt like it was kind of my responsibility to help other people by putting that out there.
Yeah.
So
And people can relate to the song as well, who've been like in similar circumstances as well.
yeah,
And
yeah, definitely.
will there be a follow-up single to this one, or even like a Little Girl's Heart Part 2?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, pending maybe. We'll
Yeah.
see.
We'll come
Um,
back.
but yeah, we've got there's another single due out soon, so that's completely different. It's a girls' party anthem, this next song. So yeah, completely different vibe to that
Oh,
one. I
that's
feel
good.
like the vulnerable one is done now.
Yeah.
I don't want to be known as like, a really sad country singer.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so
do you
yeah,
like to kind of like mix things up, do a bit of
yeah.
variation?
Yeah, I think it's important to have that,
Yeah.
versatility, and I think it's nice to be able to have different songs for different things. Yeah, I kind of, I'm thinking about like producing an album and stuff, and I want it to be very varied and have a lot of different um elements to that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Would you say you're quite a creative individual person, where you get your ideas when, writing lyrics and composing music? Because some people say it can be quite challenging, when you do have creative slowdown.
Yeah, yeah. I mean that's very real. That can happen. I think I'm most motivated when I've had some time to kind of relax. And if I'm feeling stressed, that can sometimes be a bit of a barrier to create,
Mm.
but it depends what the stress is. So there's a song in everything. You can literally write a song about everything. So
Yeah,
um yeah, it can be very real that, but um I've been writing for a long, long time.
yeah.
So it's sometimes you can write. I literally before this phone call, I've written a little thing that I'll be posting later, a couple of verses, and sometimes it just comes out like that. Sometimes it can take a while. With Little Girl's Heart, for example, because it was so important to me to make sure that the it was very visual in terms of the storytelling. We went back and forth a few times and changed the verses and kind of got uh, to a point where we were both happy with it. And then I'd slept on it and came back on, no, it's not quite right. We need to change it because I'm quite fussy.
Yeah.
So yeah, luckily Nick is great to work with. He's really open about that. So
Mm.
that was good.
Mm. And you mentioned you've done some local gigs as well, and on the horizon, you're looking at well, performing in Louisiana,
Yeah,
in America as well. Um,
yeah.
how did that come about? Was it did it just happen overnight, or was it always something you always wanted to pursue?
I mean, it feels like it's happened overnight. It's been super. I mean, I think I signed with them in October and we're already planning this tour. So it's going super quick because these
Mm.
things do apparently. So yeah, I've never even been to the States before. So I'm absolutely so excited. It's going to be an amazing summer. Um, the label actually suggested the tour, and I was like, straight away, get me there. Yeah, that's
Mm.
exactly it. To be surrounded by, true authentic country musicians who live and breathe it. I just can't wait. It's going to be
Yeah,
amazing.
it's like Louisiana, they do nice food there. I think it's a Cajun food, which
It
is like
is,
really
yeah.
nice. And of
So
course,
we're,
when
I
it when
think,
yeah.
sorry, go on.
Yeah, when you think of like Louisiana, like New Orleans, is that on your list as well to perform in?
It is, yeah. I think I was just going to say then actually, I think we're traveling around. I think we're doing Louisiana, New Orleans, Hattiesburg, Texas, up to Tennessee. So hopefully hit Nashville, and then back down again. So there's been a couple of chats about potentially like Arkansas and places like that as well. So I'm just like, I can't wait. It's going to be
Yeah,
amazing.
that's amazing. And where's best for people to follow you, like on say social media, or even if you have like a website or an emailing list as well, or even just a good old follow and streaming platforms.
Yeah, so Little Girl's Heart is out on all major streaming platforms. I'm on YouTube as well. Um, and I think mainly my socials that I use the most is Facebook. I am on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. It's B Smith Music. You'll find me on there.
Yeah,
Um, but at bsmithmusic.com is my website, and all the information's on there. I've got a mailing list and merchandise and all
yeah.
sorts of good stuff. So
Great. And just any final words you'd like to say to your fans or family or friends or followers?
Um, I mean, I've just hit 2,000 followers now as well, which is crazy to me. So that might not seem a lot to some people in the scheme of things, but it's grown really quickly. And I'm really, really grateful for
Yeah,
all the support that I've had so far. It's been absolutely wonderful.
yeah.
So
That's very
yeah, thank
good.
you so much.
Yeah, very good. No, 2K is great because even the people who got like hundreds of thousands, they had 2K once. So yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
And th
yeah.
there's only one way just to keep growing, grow and grow.
Yeah, and at the moment it's good because I can still reply to every comment. And if you message me, it's me messaging you back. So
Yeah. Because then you'll be like, obviously in the summer you'll be busy, with your touring
yeah,
as well. So that's
yeah,
amazing. And do
yeah.
you like that having the connections with like, the people who like your music?
Yeah, that's my biggest motivator, to be honest. I think that that's the thing that I enjoy about performing the most is just connecting with people, and hearing their stories. And I'm a people person, I always have
Yeah.
been. So very chatty and outgoing, sometimes too much.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm an open book and people tend to open up to me I'm a therapist by trade. Before the music life, I'm a mental health therapist as well. So um, before my music has taken off, I feel like I've always had that connection with people.
Yeah.
And I've always liked to have that, to just talk to people and meet new faces and hear their stories. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's great.
As an art, I guess as an artist, it's just great. It's just nice to have that interactivity, with
Mm,
the people who listen to your music. It just gives you that extra, quality to give to listener. That
yeah,
people do
yeah. And
like that.
it's lovely to hear, how they interpret your song as well, and how they've connected with it. And it might not be them, it might have been a family member of theirs
Mm,
that they played it about. And I think that interaction is definitely one of the main reasons why I do
yeah.
this. I absolutely love it. So
Yeah. And I know we live in a day and age where everything's fast moving and, everything's on the click of a button. And, you mentioned you had um, expertise in the field of like mental health. Do you have
yeah.
any like advice to people who may be struggling like in the music business or any other entertainment industry where they feel that they just need to take a step back and it's okay to do so?
Yeah, I think that's definitely it. You have to, self-care is really, really important. And, I think it's ironically the things that we need to do the most are the things that we stop doing when we're feeling overwhelmed and we're feeling stressed. It is about taking that time. For some people, it's really difficult to stop. They have they associate that with feeling guilty that they should always be doing something and should be on the go. But we're human at the end of the day. You need to take a break. You need to look
Yeah.
after yourself. So
And at the end of the day, it's good to talk like we're doing now, just to,
exactly,
bring it
yeah,
up. And you don't get that in
yeah.
many interviews, people talking about, the kind of dealing with mental health
Mhm.
in a kind of overwhelming job or career.
Yeah, I think, I think especially in an industry like this, you've got to have a very, very thick skin. I've already experienced that without going into too much
Yeah.
detail. That's probably a story for another time or a song maybe. Um, but yeah, you've got to sometimes evaluate like how much is something affecting you, and if you are struggling with something, absolutely reach out and talk about it. My record label, for example, are so supportive. They've been brilliant with
Hmm.
stuff. And I think it's recognizing, burnout in yourself as well, and how much you can take on without not trying to manage it all in yourself, and asking for help. There's no shame in doing that.
Yeah.
I think you can probably tell I'm an advocate for mental health anyway. So
Hmm.
um, I think anything that we can do to break the stigma around it is always a positive
Yeah.
thing. So,
Great. Thanks for your contribution on that topic as well. And on the positive note as well, also need to do is play your new track on my show. Um, and I would just like to personally thank you for joining me on my show. All the best for your tour in the States as well and your latest
thank you.
endeavors. And we'd just like to introduce a record on my show, just like say your name and the title of the song.
Yeah. So I'm P. Smith, and this is Little Girl's Heart. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, well done. And thanks very much for your contribution today. That was our B.
Yeah,
Smith
thank you for
joining me on
having me.
today's show. Pleasure.